Oh, hello there. Today we will have a look at how we actually are programming the SDC-32 and the 20G controllers and the graphics side of those. As you maybe remember from some previous training sessions, you can see that like displayed on this graph, the SDC-20G and the 32G controllers can have a built-in HTML5 graphics. What that means that we can basically show information from your buildings and from your systems on a web page, and those web pages reside on those controllers. On the SDC 20G and 32 controllers, they have also a micro SD card which is plugged into the controller, and that's where the graphics is stored. So we then can use the web browser to actually retrieve the data. So giving a simple example of that is that once we log in to the SDC controller, so in this case we have a controller IP address 192.168.2.11, it takes us to the graphics page, and we can have different types of the graphics here. For example, what we have here is AHU plant items. So we have created animated graphics. You can see there are some temperatures, flow and return temperatures and outside air temperatures. And obviously we're just simulating these values at the moment. But as you can see, the animation capabilities are pretty good and very powerful. We can use these graphics in practically in any browser, because we use HTML5 graphics. There are no needs for the Java plugins or any that kind of stuff. So the user interface device can practically be any kind of device. You can see here we have a damper position that's animating, cooling valves, supply temperatures, fans. I can set the fans true or off, or that actually represent the plant status. You have a set point here. If I click the set point, click set, that now gives a set point value, and let's say that is now 24.5 degrees. Enter that in and press OK. That is now written back to the controller, and this is how easy it is to actually see the information from the plant on SDC controllers. So how do you actually program this? That is done using a CPT tool. As you may remember from the previous sessions, with the CPT tool we can program the controllers to this kind of block programming that is shown on the screen. And for example, we did program a heating plant previously with an example of the 4-boiler sequence. So what do we do there on a CPT tool? We have an area called the graphics, and under the graphics area we have pages. These are the pages what you see on your web page. So if I open again the web browser, you will see the same pages on the menu: home, schedule, heating, trend. Go back to the CPT tool. There's a menu pages called home, schedule, heating, trend. So if we now want to create some new information or the new points on a page, we just on the tree structure double click, let's say home. This is now the page configuration area. So we have all the information here what we want to show on the graphics. When we double click the graphics pages, on the bottom the area is changing for the widget libraries. If we are on a programming page, if I go to the double click again, the heating for example, this way we had the programming side. On the left hand side on the bottom we can see that is called kits. Kits were the programming objects that we use for the creating the application logic inside the controllers. But if we go back to the home, to the graphics page, now that changes to a widgets. And what are the widgets? Widgets are the graphical components. So we can drag and drop the different components to the graphics and create the graphics in that way. There are a number of different libraries available, and we can utilize them. So if we want to, for example, have a simple thermometer like you see on a chart linked to the graphics, so let's say we want the outside air temperature to be shown on a thermometer. So what we do is on the left hand side you can see there is all our programming objects. So in this case For example, I opened the area where we had an outside air temperature programmed, outside air temperature object. So if I drag and drop that object to the graphics page, the web graphics page, it pops up the window where on the left hand side we have the hierarchical structure of the programming objects. So in this case we have an outside air temperature, and we take the output property of that and we link that on the right hand side to the, for example, to the thermometer object, and press OK. So now we have linked that to the or we have created that graphic page on our PC on a CPT tool. In order to publish that, in order to get that page displayed on a controller, what we need to do is here on the top we have 3 buttons. We have the first button here is deploy, full deploy. Full deploy needs to be done once when you get the new controller in order to get all the graphics libraries loaded into the controller. Once you've done the full deploy, when you continue programming of your graphics, you can do deploy. So when we do a deploy, that loads the files to the controller. And there is a button with a little flag icon here. This is a preview, so that launches the web page. And then there is also a download button, so we can download the graphics back to the CPT tool. So if I click the preview button, that takes now us into the controller, and because I haven't got the, I'm using actually a different browser now in this case, so I need to sign in. So what we type in, admin is a username and password is hello CPT. So that takes now us to the back to the menu screen on the controller, and it's taking us to the what we wanted to see is the home page. So if I take to open the home page, this is where we should have a now thermometer object, which we loaded to the system, and you can see that is an 18 degrees at the moment. So this is how easy it is actually to program the graphics parts on the Sedona controller. The same if I go to the Fireworks, I just open the page and I press the refresh. That will take us back to the graphics and refreshes the page, and because we have a now new object there, that's where the thermometer object and the temperature is shown. Let's say that we want another thermometer. In this case we have the supply air temperature, the flow temperature. So go back to the CPT tool and I take the flow temperature, drag and drop that to a page and take the output, link it to a let's say do the simple thermometer again. So may we make another thermometer here for the flow, which is the flow temperature. You can actually see the input data if you click the button on the right hand side on the properties. You can set up the scales, minimum output, so and maximum scales from there. Press OK, do again the upload to the controller, and now if we go back to the web browser, have a look at the refresh, and now we have 2 thermometers. One is showing the flow outside air temperature, other one is showing the flow temperature, and if I just turn the flow temperatures up and down, we can see the thermometer is going up and down. So really easy. So that's a quick review, preview how to do the graphics programming with the Sedona controllers.